Well, Stuart was in hospital for a good 4 weeks. He had retained water in his legs, and he's got problems with his kidneys and his heart. So once he came home, I needed some help in the home with him. So they used to come in twice a day, in the morning and lunchtime, which enabled me to sort of have my life and go to work and do different things without worrying him being left on his own. And also he had a gentleman called Pav, who was the physiotherapist, who came in every day for the first week, did extensive physiotherapy with Stuart to get him back up on his legs and walking again with 2 sticks rather than with a frame. And that worked really, really well. I was very, very pleased with them. And they did an overall 6 weeks input with us, which helped immensely. And then Stuart was able to manage himself when I'm not here. Oh, definitely, yeah. Without them, it would have been a real struggle for me and for Stuart, because he feels helpless, and it's a lot on my plate when I have everything else to do as well, besides going to work. So it was, a lifeline really for us both. They went and got all the boys to sign it all, gave it to him. Then he had a video from all the rugby lads as well. They sent him a video, get well video, didn't they, Stu? Yeah.
The physio really. He's been really good, helped me out a lot, and but I'm struggling now again, with my back, and I've got my water retention again, and I just got to be so careful what I'm drinking, and the more I do, the more it swells up, Well, the physio obviously gets you doing exercises and moving about, and the nurses are good, and they ask you, you want food or whatever, and they'll do it for you. But most of the time, like Sue's been doing it ourselves, But they have been helpful, no doubt,
It just takes that pressure off me, and that knowing that they were there if I needed them. That was the biggest help really for me, knowing there was somebody there at the end of the phone. If I needed them, I could ring, and that someone would give me some support.
So 5 years ago, I suffered a stroke due to meningitis and ended up in a wheelchair, blind and with one arm working. And yeah, that's about it, really, isn't it?
He was on life support. He was in a coma, and he was in hospital 3 months and came home, and he struggled and worked, and we've had a lot of support. And you did really well up until this year.
Yeah.
And you actually went away on
a week's holiday to Amsterdam
on his own,
which was a big step since my stroke. And then I come back from Amsterdam and I started working in my workshop, and I made a shelf. And I think due to fatigue and stress and everything, I got set back, and I ended up waking up the next day. I couldn't move. I was just completely wiped out, and I had no balance, and we needed help.
Yeah, we thought he'd had another stroke. It was that he couldn't even sit up in bed, couldn't even hold his phone, which for Dave is a huge thing. He was taken to hospital, and they said definitely not a stroke, and sent home, and said to get the GP involved. And we were very fortunate that we had an absolutely brilliant GP that came on the Monday. If we'd had this when Dave came home from hospital in 2020, life would have been so much easier, but we had nothing.
Obviously, when I had my stroke originally, the hospital had to sort out moving me around and everything. So having this episode again at home with my mum and dad and no means of moving about, it was quite serious. So without Home First, it was we wouldn't have managed.
No, we wouldn't. We really wouldn't have managed. And I know it's terribly dramatic to say we would have gone under, but it's the absolute truth.
I think within 3 days I was back up on my feet. Not walking, but on crutches, and
being able to sit up was the big thing.
I couldn't even pull myself out of bed. So having the hospital bed was amazing for that couple of weeks or couple of months I had it. It really helped.
And he got us equipment that we didn't even know we needed. And he said, "You need this." Oh, well, yeah, you do. You need this, and we did. We did need it, and it made a tremendous difference.
Even down to the size of like chairs to get around the house. He bought some that was too big, and then they went back and sorted out smaller ones. He went the extra mile to get what we needed for our house, and it was brilliant.